Hello and welcome to another edition of Get Rich or Die Cleaning. It's the ultimate guide to becoming wealthy, healthy and successful. So this week we'll be getting our business mastermind Blake Gaston Sanchez back. Blake is the author of the program Get Rich or Die Cleaning and is a multi-millionaire after he sold his company Giggle Tits to Amazon for $750 million. He's told us some great stuff over the last few episodes. So, without further ado, let's get our guide through the journey to riches on the phone. Let's get Skype up here. I'll ring. Let's see if Blake's there.
Hello, Pete. Is that you?
Yeah, it's me, Blake. You sound sort of distracted. And it's a little bit more echoey than usual. Where are you at the moment?
I'm a little bit distracted right now, Pete. I'm in my escape tunnel.
You're in your escape tunnel. Yeah, I think you mentioned that in one of the previous episodes. You said you use it if the IRS try and get into your house, use it to escape the country. Am I right? Why are you doing that?
Well, some dumbass by the name Pete Langheld forgot to edit out some of my comments from last week.
What did I? What did you say?
I implicated myself in what I would probably call fraud. Now, whether or not I did the things that I said in the podcast are neither here nor there. Obviously, Pete, if I mentioned something I have done that is illegal in one of the episodes, common sense would tell you not to include it in the final edition that you put out. Don't know why, but some asshat from the IRS has been listening to this thing. Now he knows all of my little tricks, all of my little schemes. Now he thinks I don't pay my taxes, and that I definitely stole money from some investors in Arizona.
Well, sorry, Blake. I don't know anything about finances. I don't know what to say, really. Other than I'm sorry, of course. You should have probably been a bit more specific about the things I shouldn't be putting on the podcast. I mean, I remember that you talking about the real estate thing. You actually gave that as advice to the people who listen to this as a way to make money. So, yeah, that's why I left it in. I didn't really realise that was fully illegal. I mean, I knew it was illegal in Britain, but in America I thought it was kind of how you operated.
It's not how we operate, you stupid asshole. We're honest business people in America. Now, those things I did in my past are not perhaps fully wholesome, but this is a guide to getting rich, or you're gonna die cleaning. And that's a way to get rich. That's why I was talking about it. I didn't know, though, that you'd leave it all in. But you'd redact bits of it. You know, like Iraq War dossiers.
Well, I'm sorry, Blake. Are you confident you're going to escape?
Well, I know I talked about my escape tunnel in previous episodes, but I never said where it went, so I should get away pretty clean. And you know, it's pretty difficult to break into without the password, so I'll probably get away. I've gotten away before, like a good few times. They eventually kind of forget about me, or my lawyers make some sort of deal. It'll be okay, but promise me now, if I say anything that implicates me in illegal activity this week, that you'll edit it out of the podcast.
Yeah, I can do that for you, Blake. I'm sorry for these problems. What kind of charges are you going to face?
Well, tax evasion, but as I'm rich, no one ever really gets punished for that, but they get pretty mad if you commit fraud and steal money from normal people. So yeah, I guess they're going to be pretty pissed about that. But anyway, let's get on with the podcast, because Lord knows I could do with some extra money right now.
I've still mentioned that there's no fee, right?
Well, yeah, but I've sold a fair few of my books since this has started. Can I plug the book quickly?
Yeah, it's the least I can do after landing you in all this trouble, mate. Yeah, go for it.
So if you go to www.blakegastonssanchez.com/ebook/$1,000, then you can get my ebook, which I have expanded to 8 pages now. So it's a real bargain. A real bargain. 8 pages for $1,000. And I guarantee you, if you follow the steps in the book, you will become rich. So go to blakegastonssanchez.com/ebook/$1,000, and you can get that. Also, I have started a Patreon page to raise money for a potential legal case that I may be fighting in the next few days. So there are links on www.blakesanchez.com/Blake's Prison Fund. So do that for me too.
All right, thanks, Blake. So, can you just quickly again go over your 6 steps of the ways to get rich or die cleaning?
Oh, for fuck's sake. Oh, man, I have done this like 4 times now. So, you start at step 0, which is you clean in your own house, you suck. Step 1, learn how to get paid to clean. Step 2, you get to order cleaning people around. And then, there's a step you should be at now if you've been following the program. You should no longer have to look a cleaning person in the eye. And then this week, we're going to cover moving from step 3 to step 4. So moving from not having to look at a cleaner in the eye, but still having to kind of see them from day to day, which sucks, to step 4, which is where you start to forget that cleaning people exist. A sort of state of mindfulness, if you like, which is what we'll be talking about today. Today is a very spiritual episode, so we'll be focusing on that. And then obviously next week, if I don't get arrested, we'll be talking about moving from step 4 to step 5.
Yeah, okay, got that, Blake. What is step 5 quickly?
It's where you forget that cleaning people exist entirely. A state of complete and utter disregard for your fellow man, where every person should try to get to.
Okay, brilliant. So today we're focusing on getting from step 3 to step 4. Am I right?
Yes, that is correct. So as I said, we discussed getting from step 2 to step 3 last week. So it covers from having employees ordering them about to not having to look at your employees. If you followed the advice in the last episode, you should now be, or at least be well on your way, to becoming a multi-millionaire like me. Or if you followed my other advice, you're now living the life of a millionaire even if you have no money. You're faking it until you make it. Are you following any of these steps yourself?
Well, yeah, I have kind of been faking it. The other day, I sort of just... I was at work and there was a cleaner there, and she said, "Good morning, Pete." Normally we chat for a couple of minutes every morning while she goes about her work before we come in for the sort of next shift. Well, yeah, she's really nice. We normally have a nice chat, but I've been following the program, so yeah, I just sort of blanked her, really. She seemed quite upset.
Well, I have noticed people who clean are sort of high-strung, if you like. They don't like to be ignored. Whereas it's unfortunate for them because it must happen quite a lot. I've noticed a lot of people not really engaging with people below them in the social status. It always surprises me when someone will call me an asshole, because I'm not an asshole. I'm a good guy, and I've got many hundreds of millions of dollars, so who's the asshole? It's not me. I'm rich. They're the asshole. They're cleaning. If you clean, you're an asshole. So fuck you, asshole. asshole.
Yeah, I guess that's a way of looking at it. I just feel like sometimes maybe this program isn't really designed for me.
I think you might be right. I don't think you really have the mindset, but you're a fine co-host. You're good at asking me questions so I can impart my advice to people who are going to listen to it and put it into action and become rich. And I hope I can help as many people as possible with this podcast.
It's a possibility. Not an enormous amount of people are listening to it, but hopefully, there's adverts for Podcoin, so that's a good way to make money while listening to podcasts.
Is that so? Oh, I'll look into that. Yeah, sure. I like money and I like podcasts, so yeah, I guess they kind of go hand in hand.
They do, yeah. So anyway, we're now at level 3. We're not looking at our cleaners. Let's focus on getting to step 4.
Absolutely, Pete. Absolutely. So, we now need to get to a level where we do no cleaning at all. You order people around, but you also don't have to look at them. So you kind of need a go-between, because it's very difficult to order people around if you're ignoring them, because you can't ignore someone while you're talking to them. This contradicts itself. So, you will need to hire a person who doesn't clean. So someone lower down the level. So ideally, they'll be following this program. But they haven't quite reached the point yet where they're never going to see a person that cleans. So always put when recruiting, do you follow the Blake Sanchez program? Because if they don't, then you know they're a fucking loser. So don't hire them. So if you don't, if you haven't bought my book and completed the program, don't forget to just put on your resume, I am a follower of Blake Gaston Sanchez's program, Get Rich or Die Cleaning. The next step, as I've mentioned, it's a step now to becoming almost unaware of cleaners. Not fully, but almost completely unaware of people who clean. Is all about mindfulness, this next step. You need to start forgetting about domestic staff completely. This is an easy thing to do if you have the right mindset. If you're a person like you, Pete, that's all bleeding heart, boo-hoo, oh, Bessie the cleaner, oh, she's such a great girl, oh, I like talking to her, I like being polite, blah, 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 blah. If you're like you, then yeah, you're going to struggle because you need to really start to not concern yourself with the problems of other people. You need to focus on number 1, which is you. You are number 1. So now, we've been following the program. We've got money, or you've borrowed money that you aren't going to pay back, or you're just pretending that you have the money, so that other people will think you are successful and therefore see you as a valid investment. So we've got money. Money's no longer an issue. But what is your mindset is a problem, and that is stopping you from getting even more money. So today we're going to talk about changing our mindsets. And to do that, we need to no longer see people that clean, and we want to basically cut them completely out of our lives. So here's some practical tips on how to do that. How to remove yourself from society. Number 1, like I do, live in a gated community with other rich guys. That's awesome. I love living with my neighbors. My neighbors fucking rule. And we never, ever see any of the assholes that clean our houses, cut our lawns, any of that bullshit. We just fuck around shooting guns at people that are running around our state. Things like that. We throw them in the swimming pool. We occasionally just spray them with a hose. We have so much fun. I live next door to Mark Zuckerberg, as I've mentioned in a previous episode. And me and Mark in the morning will meet up to swap some ideas. And we will drink 1 or 2 cups of caffeine of my caffeine shampoo that I order now from Amazon, because I don't make that shit anymore. So that cleans us out. A nice hot cup of caffeine shampoo cleans us and prepares us for the day ahead. A day of being awesome, of being titans of industry. And sometimes we'll meet up and involve in satanic sex rituals with other millionaires and billionaires.
Satanic sex rituals? Do you want to elaborate on that? Obviously, try not to implicate yourself in any more crimes.
Well, being a Satanist is sometimes misrepresented, Pete. A lot of it, people think is sort of worshipping evil, but it's not. Satanism is more about worshipping the self. Because people who make deals with the devil, as they say, these people are usually they do it so their life improves. And very often, if you make a deal with the devil, it works out pretty well during your time while you're alive. When you're dead, you're not going to care if you're getting ass raped by Satan constantly. Why would you care about that? You're going to be dead. You're not going to feel any of it.
I don't think that's how hell works.
Well, I don't care if I have to spend eternity getting butt-fucked by the devil. As long as now I have some money and a private jet. And an escape tunnel to help me get out of the country when I don't pay my taxes.
See, you engage in satanic sex rituals with other billionaires. Why don't you ask the devil to get you out of your current legal difficulties?
That's not how it works. He'll only appear to make deals with you if 5 guys get in a circle and have sex in front of a pentagram with 1 or 2 prostitutes.
Do they have to be prostitutes?
No, just willing sex partners. But as me and Mark have noticed over time, women find us quite repellent due to our attitudes to our fellow human beings. If you ignore everyone that cleans and generally ignore all sort of normal people or people who aren't rich, eventually you kind of lose touch with reality, and you find it very difficult to talk to strangers or people who aren't like you, because you no longer identify with them and the way they live. So you can come across, even when you're not trying to, like a complete fucking asshole. So I just get around this by just staying with my own kind. People who don't clean. People like me. It's been real enlightening talking to you. I haven't talked to like an asshole like you in a long time.
It's quite telling that, Blake. So, is there a possibility you could, is there any way you're going to get out of your current legal difficulties without involving Satan?
Well, I don't know. I'll have to speak to Satan about that. So as we'll move on to a next step. I've mentioned moving to like a gated rich person community, or like Beverly Hills, somewhere like that. Somewhere where you're not going to see any of these assholes that clean. Next step, make sure you get an island or some remote land in somewhere like New Zealand or the Appalachian Mountains. Somewhere where you're going to be protected from the coming global apocalypse. Because, trust me, that's coming pretty soon. I mean, most people are prepping, right?
Prepping? I think some people are. There's a show on Amazon about it, but I'm not.
You're not prepping?
Prepping for what exactly? I mean, I suppose a apocalyptic event is possible, but it's not going to happen soon, is it? What?
You really don't know?
I really don't know what. You're being a bit vague here, Blake. I know you're a bit distracted with your legal problems, but you might need to be a bit more specific about what you mean about an apocalypse level event.
Holy fuck. Pete, tell me truthfully. Are you like the only one who doesn't know?
Well, I wouldn't know, would I? If I was the only one that didn't know.
I mean, does your wife ever talk about like what you're gonna do when the event happens?
No, neither of us. I don't know anyone who does. I know lots of people.
Holy shit. Well, I don't know how to break this to you, Pete, but the war's probably going to end in like 1 or 2 years.
Say again?
Why do you think I've been trying to prep people, to get them wealthy? Because only the wealthy are going to survive the event.
What event are you talking about? Please be specific.
Well, Pete, there's 1 or 2 things that are very, and when I say very likely, I mean these things are going to happen. Okay, so you know about like global warming, climate change.
Well, of course, yeah. That's a serious problem, but it's not like nothing's gonna happen in the next couple of years, right?
Well, I thought everyone was aware of what happens when large amounts of ice melts. That ice is full of fucking carbon, man. Carbon's gonna fuck the environment up. And there's those ice sheets in the South Atlantic, in Antarctica, and the North Pole. Those are melting a lot faster than perhaps is reported on the news.
Oh.
So yeah, as I said, you probably got about a couple of years till those things are gone. And yeah, I mean that's gonna raise sea levels pretty damn significantly, and it's also going to release such an enormous amount of carbon into the atmosphere that, yeah, I mean, a lot of the planet's going to be pretty uninhabitable. That's what I'm saying. You need to get yourself a very remote island, somewhere quite far away from the ice caps, somewhere pretty damn near the equator. That's pretty important, and make sure it's a high up one, because you're going to lose a lot of the surface area of your island. So it's New Zealand or somewhere like that's probably best. Somewhere in the desert, but it's real hard to live out in the desert. Somewhere remote and high up. That's real important. Make sure it's high up. Because fuck me, it's going to be wet. If that is somehow averted, there is, however, going to be a pretty massive financial crisis in the next few years.
Is that like a stock tip, or what you mean, like an even worse than the 2008 crash?
Oh, fuck yeah. The damage done by the 2008 financial crash, that's not even been sorted out yet. That was just patched over with a fuck ton of money that President Obama printed out on his computer or some shit. I don't know where money comes from. President Obama and Gordon Brown, yeah, they just put like a sticking plaster over the dam, man. The debt crisis, the amount of debt countries owe, the amount of debt individuals have, there's not enough money in the world to pay that shit back. So the banks are going to run out of money again. And it's going to happen probably pretty soon, I would say. And when that happens, there's no amount of bailout, because all the fucking governments are already in like $1 trillion worth of debt each. Yeah, there's no coming back from the next one. I thought, I don't pretend to be like a financial expert, but yeah, it doesn't take a lot of analysis to see what's going to happen there.
Oh, right. Well, that's left me feeling a little bit scared, confused, and, well, frankly, yeah, what's the point of carrying on with this if these two things are going to happen?
Well, as I've said, you need money now so you can prep, man. You're not going to be able to afford an island unless you're rich. Doing this is my way of trying to keep as many of you fuckers alive as possible, because I need someone to clean my house.
Oh. Can I clean your house?
I don't think you have the right attitude to be my cleaner, Pete. But, sure, send a resume in.
I'm gonna. Oh, I really don't know where to go now.
Well, if you want to survive the apocalypse, it's all laid out in my ebook, which is, as I've said, is available at www.blakegastonsanchez.com/ebook/$1,000. I thought you'd said you'd read that book.
Yeah, I skimmed it. I must have missed the part about how the world's definitely going to end in the next couple of years.
Well, read it again, man.
I'm going to. I think we best start wrapping up, Blake, because I've got some reading to do.
You sure have, Pete. You sure have.
So where are you going once you've escaped from the feds?
Probably move to Sudan. The president there is a real good friend of mine. He's put me up a few times.
Well, Sudan's actually going through regime change at the moment, Blake.
Motherfucker. Oh, well, guess it's back to Venezuela. I fucking hate that place. There's too many goddamn bugs.
Yeah, same situation in Venezuela, unfortunately, Blake. Yeah, regime change. Right in the middle of regime change.
Holy fucking shitballs. Well, that only leaves one place, really. Off to North Korea again.
North Korea?
Oh, sure. Me and that fucking Cabbage Patch Kid that's in charge, we're real tight. That guy can really put the booze away. Holy fuck, is that guy short. He wears like killer high heels, but you never see that in any photos of him. You know, that guy's shorter than Trump. Trump's a fucking tiny little prick.
Is he? I thought he was quite tall. How tall is Donald Trump?
He's like 4 feet high. He's like a dwarf. But if you're in his presence, he makes you like sit on your fucking hands.
Oh, okay. Can you tell us an interesting fact about Donald Trump?
Yeah, sure I can. You know like how he's always really orange?
Yeah, I've noticed that.
Well, that's not fake tan, that's his actual fucking skin. Alright? That guy is part Oompa Loompa.
Oh, right. The Oompa Loompas from Willy Wonka?
That's right. He's Pat Oompa Loompa. His ma, she's an Oompa Loompa. And his dad once broke into Wonka's chocolate factory when he worked as a construction worker and just fucked a midget. But the midget was actually an Oompa Loompa from the land of Loompa Land.
I thought that was just a children's story.
Well, it is. I expect a lot less negativity from you this week, Pete, because as I've said, next week I expect much less negativity. Because, as I mentioned, the world is gonna probably end quite soon. So you need to start getting some dough together, bro. Because I've grown to quite like you over the last few weeks, and I think we could probably hang out once, 90% of the world's population is starved to death, or whatever, or drowned.
Yeah. It would be nice to survive.
Well, if you follow these steps, that's what I keep saying every week. You gotta follow the steps, follow my advice. Because if you follow my advice, you'll get rich. And if you're rich, you'll survive. Because you'll have enough money to buy the shit you need before all this shit happens. Because it is happening. I mean, do you want to do another podcast where we, practice prepping? Because, let me tell you, these dickheads who are digging little shelters and shit, it's not going to get you over the line. You need a fucking massive tract of farmland, or you're fucked.
Well, thanks for coming on, Blake. I guess you'll be in a bit of a mystery location next week.
I'll be in North Korea, but I'm not telling you where. It's not Pyongyang.
All right. Well, thanks for phoning in, Blake. Goodbye.
Bye. Thanks for listening. Bye.
Well, that was Blake. He has imparted to us that the world is very likely to end in the next year or so. But, come back next week for the next edition of the podcast. Don't forget to listen to the Pete and Fran podcast. Bye.